Hey everyone, welcome to Pink Tutu Tarot. Today we're looking at what your boss wishes you would do a little bit differently, what your boss wishes you would do or do differently. And then we're also going to look at Spirit's take on that. So from a higher perspective, does Spirit agree with your boss? What additional advice or guidance does Spirit have for you as far as that goes, as far as your boss's opinions about what you do and how you might get ahead on the job? So I've got 3 readings for you. The first one, group 1, your card is the Two of Pentacles. And these cards came directly from the readings. I'm recording the intro after the readings. Group 2, your card is the Four of Wands. And group 3, your card is the Seven of Pentacles. Okay. So all you have to do now is decide which card, which group you want to watch. Click on the timestamp down in the description box, and it will take you straight to your reading. Okay? All right, thanks, y'all. We'll see you in the reading. Hey, group 1. All right, today we're going to take a look at what your boss wishes you would do differently. What they wish you would do or wish you would do differently. But we're also going to take a look at what Spirit has to say about that. Do they agree? Does the spirit world agree? Do they disagree? Do they have any insight or advice for you as far as that's concerned? So let's jump in and get you some cards down, and we'll see where this goes. Right. All right. Your first card is the Two of Pentacles. Then we have the Ten of Wands. And the Strength card. Okay. All right, we're going to start with this. This is from your boss's point of view. We'll get to Spirit's point of view in a minute, but let's start here. So give me just a second while I take these cards in. I'm going to listen for any initial messages for you, and then we'll go card by card, okay? So give me just one sec, y'all. The first thing I'm getting is that your boss thinks you do have a lot of potential. You're good at what you do. You have a good work ethic. They're giving me that you have a sharp mind and that you are able to use that on the job. This is again from your boss's point of view. So they do think a lot of you. But again, there are some things they wish you would do differently, or that they would like to see you take on, which is interesting. And we'll get into that when we go card by card. Let me just see if there's anything else. They're telling me to what they want you to do. Spirit's wanting to make sure you know this, that the changes that are kind of in your boss's mind, or the things they want you to do, it's very subtle. Because for the most part, they're very impressed by what you do and how you do it. So please take that. So anything that comes out, Spirit is specifically for this group, wanting to say that the changes that are going to come through are subtle, are not meant to be taken as huge, overhauls or as any kind of direct criticism. These are small things that your boss feels. They're like tweaks that your boss feels would take your work to the next level. Okay. So there aren't any major things. That's what Spirit's giving me. There aren't any major things you need to do differently. So it's not that your boss is disappointed in you or the work that you do. They're giving me quite the opposite. They're very impressed by you. So please know that. But, sometimes a few tweaks can go a long way toward getting you where you need to go. And that's kind of what your boss is, their energy is coming through with. Okay. All right. So your first card here is the Two of Pentacles. Give me just a second. Okay, your boss feels like, and again, keep in mind that these are small changes. I think what I'm about to say you could take as something big, which is why Spirit's coming through to say, please keep in mind that these are tweaks, small tweaks to what you're doing. But I'm getting a message here of being able to balance more than one thing at a time, juggle more than one thing at a time, to take on different projects and be able to manage them equally well at the same time. Now, I'm getting a feeling that you do that now, but maybe not quite as successfully as your boss would like you to. So it may be that sometimes when you have, one or two projects more than is normal or is typical for you, that you get overwhelmed. And sometimes your work can suffer a little bit because of it. Again, not a huge change because it is coming through that you do actually do this well most of the time. It's more of an energy of learning to take on more and be able to maintain the level of balance and multitasking that you do now, that you already do, on a smaller scale. Okay. Okay. Without becoming overwhelmed or without dropping the ball. Okay. All right. So then your next card is the Ten of Wands. Just a sec. Talking about carrying the burden. I just want to hear what they're saying about that, so bear with me here. Okay, they're giving me a message about your boss does feel that you do a lot of work, that you do work hard. They're actually wishing that there was a little bit more of a lightness about you when you're working. It's like you work hard, but everybody knows how hard you work. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But okay. Sometimes your boss wants to give you more, and they struggle to do that because you sometimes feel to them like you can't take on anymore. You're showing your exertion, and they're not always quite sure that you can take on more. So the message coming through is about, if they felt like you could take on more, they would give you more. Or maybe you don't want any more. I don't know. But your boss feels like if they could give you more, if they felt comfortable that you could take on more and balance it well and be able to manage it and not feel completely overwhelmed, it would help you get ahead as far as they're concerned. Because their challenge right now with helping you level up in whatever way makes sense for you in your job is they often feel like sometimes you are at capacity with how much you can take on, or that you seem to be at capacity. They feel like you should be able to take on a little bit more. So you can take that for what it's worth. Again, remember, it's just their opinion. They feel like you should be able to take on a little bit more than than they currently feel comfortable giving you. Because even though again, it's like they feel like you should be able to, but you don't seem like you can handle more. Again, these are small changes, so don't take them as big, like, oh my gosh, how much more do they want? These are small tweaks for this group anyway. But sometimes the small things really can add up to something really important. All right, so your final card here, as far as what your boss would like to see you do differently, is the Strength card. They would like to see you be able to manage your stress a little bit more. That's what I just heard. That when things get stressful, when there's deadlines, when there is extra workload, they wish you could manage that stress a little bit better, because there's a message here about your stress. It's like you wear your stress on your sleeve a little bit, and in some ways it affects other people. Like your stress kind of stresses other people out. And it does make them feel like sometimes they can't give you more because they don't want you to stress out. They don't want you to feel overwhelmed, and they certainly don't want you to drop the ball on anything you're doing already. But the big story is that they wish you could manage your stress levels, especially when things are kind of trying on the job, when things are difficult, when they're challenging, when there's, again, big deadlines, an extra load of work, that you can manage your stress level better, which would kind of open you up to taking on more when it's needed, and to managing the more when you get it. Okay? All right. So let's leave that there, and let's find out what Spirit has to say about all that. Okay. All right. We have the 10 of Cups. And the 2 of Wands. I'm going to move these up a little bit more, because we're going to pull one more here as an advice card from Spirit. Okay. And the advice card is the Queen of Cups. Okay, I know you can't fully see that. Okay. All right. Give me just a second. Let me see what Spirit wants to say about all this. The first thing Spirit's saying is that you have to feel comfortable with where your career, with where your job is heading. Because your boss is very much wanting you to take on more, to rise up in the ranks. Now, maybe you do, maybe you don't. Maybe you're just comfortable where you are. Maybe you just want to enjoy your job, and maybe your goal isn't to get promoted, take on more responsibility, have more responsibility, take on more challenges. So the first thing Spirit's saying is that it's important that you know what you actually want. Because if you move up, or you work to move up just because it's what's expected of you and what other people typically want, if it isn't what you want, then whatever stress you feel now, whatever tension you feel now on the job will double, will triple, will become even more so. Because it's not that you don't know how to handle stress, but you have to want. It's like you have to want it. It has to mean something to you. the extra responsibilities, the extra projects, the extra duties. If it's not what you want, then stress just becomes stress. Instead of being a challenge for you to accomplish, something to overcome, something to achieve, it just becomes burdensome. So that's the first thing Spirit is saying it to, is make sure you know what you want. And if what you want is to get ahead, then there is something to what your boss is saying here. But if what you really want, if you're comfortable at the level you're at, but you just want to enjoy your job, then that's a different story. Okay? And there's nothing wrong with either. So please know that. But it is important for you to know. All right. So your first card here from Spirit is the Ten of Cups. And they're saying, be comfortable with who you are, what you're doing, and where you're headed. There is a message here of being happy with where you are. Doesn't mean that you can't want to get ahead, but they're letting you know that the ability to take on what your boss is suggesting, more projects, more responsibility, taking things on with less stress, it happens from finding a place of being comfortable and enjoying your job. And they're saying, don't let the stress of the job steal that away from you. When things do get stressed out, if you're wanting to be able to take on more, okay, first thing Spirit is saying is to express your trepidation with your boss. Hey, I'm a little bit nervous about taking on more. I'm afraid I won't be able to manage the workload, but I want to. Let them have that conversation with them so that they can help you. And it will help them know really what it is you want. But also to go back to, why do you want to take on more? If you do, what is it that you love about your job? Try to find the joy in the work rather than just focusing on the work. Like, remind yourself what it is you love about what you do. And that will help you overcome some of the stress, and it will help you take on more and find some joy in that. Find some appreciation in additional projects. Okay? All right. Then we have the Two of Wands. And they're saying you have options. You really do. You don't have to follow the status quo, the typical agenda of people in the workplace. You can, but you have to find that out for yourself. If you want to get ahead, learn ways to relax into it, to express how you feel with your boss so that they can help you, they can aid you, they can feed you jobs maybe a little bit at a time until you're more and more comfortable as you take on more and more, because I feel like you're already taking on quite a bit. But find out for yourself, decide for yourself, look at where you are and what you want, and make sure you are living to that path, right? Your boss sees you in one way, as someone who's very capable, as someone who has a lot of potential to get ahead, with just this need to manage your stress and wear your stress on your sleeve a little bit less when you are stressed out. Kind of find a way to transmute that into being more productive rather than just anxious, and to manage projects, juggle projects well when you have multiple things going on. But they see you as, these are minor tweaks, but this person has a lot of potential to get ahead. But again, the message from Spirit keeps coming back to, ask yourself, is that what I want? And if it is, absolutely work to make these changes. And do that by focusing on what you want, focusing on what you love about the job. What if it's not what you want? If you feel like enough is enough, I'm doing enough work, I'm at a level that I'm comfortable with, I'm making the money I'm comfortable with, just kind of leave me alone, let me do my job. There is nothing wrong with that. But make that clear to yourself. Yeah. So the advice from Spirit is a little bit of a repeat here. It's the Queen of Cups. Find happiness within yourself. Know what you want. Know what makes you happy. Know what, try to understand what will make you happy in the long term. Not just in the moment, right? Taking on more work in the moment probably never feels great unless you know what, I'm taking on more because it feels good to achieve that, to accomplish that. And I also know it will help me progress in my career. If that's what you want, the extra work can sometimes be rewarding rather than just burdensome. But you have to kind of get it right in your own head and in your own heart what it is you want and why. Okay? And to remind yourself again what it is you love about your work and what you want to get from it. Never mind what your boss wants you to get from it, but what you want to get from it, right? Okay, group one. I hope that helps. I hope it gives you the help you needed, the guidance, a little bit of insight into what your boss is thinking. And thank you so much for being here. If the reading resonated, please give it a thumbs up or drop me a comment, subscribe. When you interact with my channel, it lets me know that our energies are resonating, which is really great news for me. It also will help future readings to resonate a little bit more, which is good for you, right? So it's a win-win. So thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day, y'all. Bye-bye. Hey, group two. All right, today we're going to take a look at what your boss wishes you would do a little bit differently, or a lot differently. We'll find out. And we're also going to take a look at what Spirit's take is on that. What does Spirit think about that? Do they agree? Do they disagree? Any insights and advice for you? So you're sort of getting your boss's point of view, but also a higher point of view as well. All right, let's get some initial cards down and we'll start there. The first card is the Queen of Cups. Then we have the Four of Wands. Okay. And finally, we have the Seven of Pentacles. I'll have some more cards for you in a minute as we look into Spirit's point of view, but we're going to start with your boss here. So give me just a sec while I take these cards in, and I'm going to listen for some initial messages for you, and then we'll go through these card by card. So bear with me one sec, y'all, while I take a listen. Okay. They're giving me that your boss is aware that, okay, your boss feels that you do want to get ahead in your work. Maybe you've expressed that to them. Maybe they're just aware of it. And they do want this for you as well. But I'm getting a message here of they would like to see a little bit more of a sense of teamwork from you. Partly it's on the job, but in some ways, or at least for some of you, it's also outside of work. Now, if you work in an office and maybe sometimes you do team building things outside of work, or or you get together outside of work, what I'm getting is that either you don't participate in those things at all, or you do it a bit reluctantly. And it does take away from the perception of you as a team player on the job. Now, if you don't work in the office, maybe you work from home, or you don't have the team building or outside of work events, that kind of thing. If that doesn't apply to you, there's still a message here about needing to work well with others on a more consistent basis. Not to say that you don't work well or that you don't like other people, but I'm getting that you're a bit of a loner in the workplace, that you focus on yourself, on your work, you do things kind of in a solo type of way. And while that can be good because it means that you're self-sufficient and you're independent and you don't rely on other people to jump in and help you, which is a good thing, but you would come across as more of a team player if sometimes you jumped in to help others, even if you don't need their help, or you ask for advice, or you offer to brainstorm with someone, or however it may work for you in your particular job, in your particular office or workplace. Whether it's you offering to help someone else, or opening the door to others stepping in and working with you. It can go both ways, whether even if you don't feel like you need help, or that maybe you don't feel like others need help either. Your boss would like to see more of an effort there. Okay. All right, so let's look through the cards. First card we have is the Queen of Cups. Now, give me just a sec here. I just want to hear what they want to say. Okay, Spirit. Now, I don't read this deck in reverse because it's kind of a one-way sort of deck, but they're showing me in my mind's eye, they're showing me this card flipped around. And your boss sees you as someone who's very efficient. You have a lot of work ethic. You are a strong player in the workplace. They don't necessarily feel that you are particularly happy there. Now, it doesn't mean it's true. It's just their point of view. They do feel like if you connected with other people in the workplace a little bit more, whether it's at work, about work, or outside of work, that you might be happier with where you are. There is some concern on their part that you're not enjoying the workplace. You're not enjoying being there, if that makes sense to you. Again, you may be thinking, yeah, but I do enjoy my job, or I don't have anything against work. But if you can take that message and just step outside of it and imagine, is it possible that your boss doesn't see that? That you keep to yourself so much that they have the misperception that you're not happy. Or you may actually be unhappy. And they may have a point, right? We'll find out when we get into Spirit's messages. Okay. All right. So then we have the Four of Wands. And your boss is coming through with this energy of wanting you to celebrate other people's successes a little bit more. It's not that you are negative towards people's successes when someone else accomplishes something, achieves something, gets promoted, whatever it may be. They're giving me that they just don't get much from you at all. Or there isn't much that's being seen. Now listen, we all do lots of things at work that others don't see. So it may just be that they don't see it, they don't recognize it, so they can't acknowledge it. But they do just know this. Your boss is looking at you and what you do, thinking you do a very good job. They like you. They like how you work. They like what you're doing. They want you to like what you're doing as well. And they don't see that. They don't see that you celebrate other people's successes, sometimes even personal successes, you know, an engagement, a marriage, a baby, whatever it may be, buying a new house. To get involved more uh, with the team, with the people in the workplace. To be a little bit more of a team player, it doesn't just mean working with them, you know, because your job may be a very solo type of job. You might not need any help. But there are lots of ways to be a team player that don't involve giving anyone some of your workload. You know what I mean? Um, so consider that as something that your boss is seeing and wishing you would do just a little bit more of, okay? Or a lot more of if you're not doing any. They want you to be more of a team player, more of a team person in the workplace, okay? All right, so then we have the Seven of Pentacles. They want you to see that what you do, especially when it comes to teamwork, even if it's outside of actual work, they want you to recognize and see that these types of things do matter, because it feels like to them that you think, you know, doing my work should be enough. Your boss's opinion is different. Your boss's opinion is that being part of a team helps everybody grow. So it's not just you getting better, you improving, you leveling up. It's about the entire team. They're very much like a holistic meaning that they're looking at the whole team. They're looking at everyone as an organism, as a single organism. And, you know, one person shooting to the top and not being part of the rest of the body, the rest of the company, takes away from the rest of the company a bit. So as much as they would like to see you get ahead, they would like to see you get promoted, whatever it may mean for you in the workplace, to rise up, they do feel like there needs to be more attention paid to that team atmosphere, and to know that it matters. It does matter in the big scheme of things as far as your work goes. That it isn't just about what you do and how you do it, from their opinion, right? That's their point of view. Okay, let's move those up and let's get some cards from Spirit, see what Spirit has to say about that. All right, we have the Knight of Wands. And the Emperor. And one more as an advice card from Spirit. And the advice card is the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, let me see if Spirit wants to say anything about these cards in particular, and then we'll go card by card here as well. Okay, hold on one sec. Okay, first thing Spirit is saying is they agree with your boss. That a team atmosphere, that a team player is more valuable in the workplace than someone who just puts their head down and does their job, you know, clocks in, clocks out, comes in, leaves at the end of the day, and that's that. Spirit's saying to you, you know, these are people. These are people you're working with. It's not just a machine. And you are very good at your job. And it does feel like you do have some relationships with people in the workplace. but it's to a small extent. It could be enlarged, it could be expanded, partly to be more visible to your boss, to others in the workplace who sort of need to see you being a team player. And yes, a little of that is playing the game, but Spirit's wanting you to be authentic in it, in that the more you care about the other people in the workplace, the more you engage with them. First of all, the more you engage with them, the more you will care. And the more you care, the more it will be visible, you know? Uh, so in that way, Spirit does agree with your boss. There's no disagreement there. All right, so let's talk about their cards. We have first the Knight of Wands. They're saying that you are so focused on what you want, as far as your job, your goals, your achievements, that you do tend to think you can do it or should do it all by yourself. You know, tackling this fire-breathing dragon becomes a solo mission for you, you know, in symbolic terms. And on paper, that sounds right, right? Like, you want to get ahead, you need to prove that you're good at what you do, and you go after it. And by doing that, theoretically, you should get ahead. But Spirit disagrees with that philosophy a little bit by saying, when you are so focused on your path, on your progress, on where you want to go, what you want to achieve, you do tend to leave others behind. And it's not how the world is meant to work. And the fact that your boss wants more of that from you, more of this team player from you, more of this person who can celebrate other people, says a lot about your boss. Now, you may like them, not like them. Spirit's not giving an opinion about that. But they're saying it says something about them and how they work that is on the right track, because no one does it truly all alone. So Spirit's encouraging you to do more of what your boss was suggesting there. Okay. All right. So then we have the Emperor. Just a sec here. Okay. This is getting very practical here, but show your boss that you can be and do what they are hoping you will. Spirit saying it may sound like a game. It may sound like you're playing the political game of work, but it's not a game if you're genuine about it, you know. And they're pointing out this dog here, and how, yes, the dog is close to the boss here, the Emperor, but the dog is also very loyal and genuine. The dog wants everyone to succeed. That's what they just gave me. You know, so maybe think about working on that, wanting everyone to succeed, wanting everyone to be happy and fulfilled in the workplace, and letting your boss see that, right? Because they want to see that. But for your own sake, for your own growth potential, you need to not only do it, but your boss needs to see it. And that's just getting very practical with you, right? If you do it in quiet, if you do it in secret, it doesn't take away from what you're doing. You know, that's still great. But if your boss doesn't see it, it doesn't get you anywhere. You know, it doesn't get you any closer to your goals. So yes, be more of a team player. Work with other people in the workplace, but also show your boss that this is who you are. Don't pretend, be genuine about it, but allow your boss to see it. Yeah. Because it will help you, you know. And Spirit wants what's best for you. Your boss wants what's best for the team, for everyone. But your spirit guides, the people around you in spirit, want what's best for you. And so they're giving you this advice of do these things, you know, find a way to engage more. and show your boss that you are that person. Okay? And that's how you get ahead. All right. So the advice from Spirit is the Queen of Pentacles. And what they're giving me is, when they're talking about this message of, celebrate other people's achievements, want everyone to get ahead, it has to come from a place of knowing that you aren't losing anything by helping other people do well. It doesn't take away from your success. So believe in your own success. Believe that know that you are doing a good job, because you are, and that you are being recognized and noticed for that. But also know that there can be this generosity of spirit about you, where you want others to succeed, you want to help others succeed, you want to celebrate the achievements of other people at work, in their personal lives, whatever it may be. You can do that with a sense of generosity when you know it doesn't take anything away from you to want others to get ahead as well. Because when everyone does well, everyone does well. And your success shouldn't take away from anyone else on the job, just as theirs shouldn't take anything away from you. But if you can sit in your own power in that way and give of yourself generously, knowing it doesn't take a thing away from you. When the Queen of Pentacles gives, and she does it knowing she has more than enough already. And that what she gives doesn't truly take anything away from her. Okay? And that's the advice from Spirit. Okay. All right, group 2. I hope that helps. I hope it gives you just kind of a peek into what your boss is thinking, what they're wanting from you, as well as Spirit's point of view on that. So thank you so much for being here. If the reading resonated, please give it a thumbs up or drop me a comment, subscribe, whatever you feel called to do. But when you interact with my channel and with the video, it helps me know that our energies are connecting, and that helps me a lot. It will also help future readings resonate with you more, and I have found that over the years with experience, that the more you interact, the more the videos seem almost more like a personal video to you in many cases. So it helps you as well. So thank you so much for being here, y'all. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Hey, group 3. All right, today we're going to take a look at what your boss wishes you would do differently. And then we're going to also look at what Spirit's take is on that. Does Spirit agree, disagree? They come from a little bit of a higher place, so they can see the bigger picture of things. Sometimes they agree, sometimes they don't. So it's good to get both perspectives. Okay. All right. So let's get started with some initial cards here for you. And we'll start by looking at what your boss wishes you would do differently. Get their point of view first. Okay. Your first card is the Seven of Pentacles. We have the Knight of Wands. And we have the Eight of Swords. Okay, give me just a sec. I want to take these cards in. I'm going to listen for some initial messages for you from Spirit, and then we'll go through these card by card. Give me just one sec, y'all. Okay, the first thing the Spirit's telling me is that your boss is wanting you to be more focused on, really more focused on where things are headed rather than how things look right now. They want you to see the bigger picture, whether it's a situation that's going on with the workplace for some of you, I feel like, or just in general as far as your job is concerned. I'm getting that you're very task oriented, that you do what you're told, you do a good job, and you're very focused on the tasks that you work on. But your boss is wanting you to also recognize what the bigger picture looks like in some way. How these tasks play into the bigger scope of your company, of the work you do, the industry that you're in. Because in order for you to move up, if this is something that you want, in order to move up in your career within this workplace, as you rise up, they're giving me that your ability to do the tasks, yes, it's good to have that knowledge and that expertise and that experience, but when you get further up the ranks, there's less of the doing and more, it's like more supervising the doing. And it's hard to, right now it's hard for them to see you as someone who could manage other people in their day-to-day tasks and jobs, because they're not seeing that you are enough of a big picture person. Very good at what you do. It's like whatever task or projects or jobs you're given, you do them to a very, very high degree. It's quality work. That's what I'm hearing. It's quality work. But can you step away from the actual work and be someone that can lead others in the doing of that job? And your boss wants to see more of that from you as a starting point anyway, in order for you to get ahead. Now listen, if you don't want to get ahead, if you're happy just doing what you're doing, no big deal. But your boss sees you as someone who has the work ethic and the quality and the it's like you have the brain power in some way. You have the skills, the talents to get ahead, to do more, but to be in a leadership role, which is where they would love to see you rise up to, you'd have to be able to step away from the day-to-day tasks and be able to help others, manage others without jumping in and doing it for them. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. All right, so let's talk about the cards. Your first card is the Seven of Pentacles. And they're giving me, your boss would like to see you be able to manage multiple tasks or multiple jobs, again, without doing them yourself. How do you do that when you have your own tasks to do? Get involved with what other people are doing. Ask questions about projects you're not working on. Show your boss, show others that you're interested in the bigger picture, that you're knowledgeable about the bigger picture, and that you can contribute, even if it's just intellectually, even if it's just your voice, right? You don't have to do the work. They want to see that you are aware of what other people do and can see how the scope of all that affects the company as a whole. Because as you become more aware of the big picture, it's like you're able to guide and lead a little bit more than if you're so laser focused on one particular aspect or whatever it is you are working on. So it's not that they want you right now to be less focused on your job, because obviously you have a job to do. But if you can do your job and also show an interest in the other aspects of the company, be able to offer some guidance to others who may be less experienced than you, even if it isn't your job, if you have some input, some guidance, some advice for others, showing that you can be a leader and more than just a doer. Okay. All right. So then we have the Knight of Wands. Yeah, they want to see that fire in you. They want to see that spark in you of someone who can not just take on more work, but take on more responsibility. You know, as you become a leader in a company, you take on the responsibility of others rather than of just projects. And it does feel very much like they want you to be able to lead other people. So hopefully that makes sense. If that doesn't make sense for your company, kind of, you know, take it as it resonates for you. But they're wanting to see that leadership fire in you. And how do you do that? Again, what we talked about, be interested, be engaged in what other people are working on. Show that you have knowledge of maybe different departments or different aspects of the company, of the competition even they're giving me. You know, the more you can speak up and talk about, well, this is how the competition works or does this. Now that may make sense for you and your company or not, to take that as it resonates, but I am getting that message of being someone who understands not only what's going on inside your company, but outside the company as well, how different things affect your industry. Be someone who wants to learn about leadership, whether that's taking courses on kind of public speaking or leadership courses, learning about different aspects of the company. They want to see this spark in you, that you have not only the desire to be a leader, but you have the ability to be one as well. And that you're going to go for it, and that you are going for it. That this is something you want, and this is something you are pursuing. Okay? And then finally, we have the Eight of Swords. They want to see that you're not just stuck in your role. That you, okay, they're giving me that you are able to take the blindfold off, able to take the wristbands off, and step up to the plate in some new ways, in some elevated ways. Because I'm getting that it would be easy for you, you know, to just stay where you are and keep doing what you're doing, but you may end up feeling a bit stuck there, and your boss doesn't want you to get stuck there. Doesn't want you to get to a place where you feel stuck in your job, that you're not going anywhere. But there are certain, again, these leadership qualities that they need to see from you in order to kind of put you up for that kind of position, or to groom you for that kind of position. They need to see that not only are you willing to break out of what you're doing, but that you have the vision, the scope, the qualities that a leadership position would require. Okay? All right, so let's see what Spirit wants to say to you about this. First card is the Five of Pentacles. Then we have the Ten of Pentacles. And one more as an advice card for you from Spirit. And the advice from Spirit is the Three of Swords. Okay, just a sec. Let me see if Spirit wants to give you any initial messages about this here, and then we'll talk through each card. Okay, Spirit is saying that in order for you to be this version of you in the workplace, there is a need for you to feel comfortable doing that. Are you? Ask yourself this question: am I comfortable rising up in the ranks if it means managing other people, leading certain meetings, becoming a speaker of some kind? Because it does feel like, at least for many of you, that there would be some, whether it's public speaking or just speaking in front of, a group of people at work, higher ups particularly, leadership, the leaders of the company. Are you comfortable with that? If you're not comfortable with that, what do you want? Where do you want your career to go? Because in the job you're currently in, it feels like that is the natural progression to move into a leadership role where you will have responsibility for others, where you will have responsibility on a higher level, rather than just taking on more projects. You don't have to stay where you are if that's not what you want. Do you want to stay in the position you're in? Do you want to rise up and be the leader that your boss would like to see you be? Or are you looking for something else in your job, in your career goals, in your career path? No one can assess that but you, but Spirit does sense that there may be some hesitation about being a leader rather than a doer. Maybe you really just enjoy doing whatever work you do. And there's nothing wrong with that, but maybe there is another way for you to expand and grow career-wise for yourself. Could be with another company, or it could be, for some of you, it even may be, what if you did it for yourself? What if you worked for yourself? Obviously, that won't make sense for everybody, but for some of you, it will. Okay. All right, let's jump into the cards. The first card is the Five of Pentacles. And the first thing Spirit's saying is you don't have to go after anything you don't want. You don't have to. It's there for you. And if you want it, find it within yourself to pursue it. But you don't have to follow a career path that your boss sees for you if it's really not what you want. It may mean leaving this job and finding a job that is more suited to a growing career that continues in line with what you enjoy doing. It may mean, again, for some of you, working for yourself, whether you started on the side or you just jump ship and start a company, or working with a smaller company where you're taking on more of the job and succeeding in that rather than managing people and managing other people's work rather than doing. Spirit isn't saying that isn't what that you don't want to be a leader, because you may be watching this and going, yeah, I really do want that. Spirit's just asking you to assess that for yourself and to decide what you want, because if it's not what you want, don't go after it. Plain and simple. If it is what you want, then pursue it. If it's just a matter of being outside your comfort level a little bit, dip your toe in. and see what comes of it. Just try little things. Maybe again, like you start by taking a class on public speaking or a leadership class, and see if it brings you confidence, if it empowers you, or if you really hate it, right? Okay. So then we have the 10 of Pentacles. You can be successful. That's what Spirit's saying. You can be successful in what you do and in what you enjoy doing and who you enjoy being. Success is there for you. It's available for you. But not if you're chasing after something that's you really don't want. So if right now you're very much focused on the day-to-day job, the day-to-day task, and that is not what you want, then give yourself the gift of stepping back and considering what your boss wants for you. If what your boss wants for you is not what you want, then pursue what you do want, right? Because success is there for you. You have a lot of wonderful skills and abilities and gifts, and you can grow to a great extent. Success and abundance is there for you. That's what Spirit keeps giving me. But it's there for you in a place that also feeds your happiness. It doesn't mean you never step outside your comfort zone. It doesn't mean that at all. We often have to step a little bit outside our comfort zone in order to grow, but it does mean pursuing what makes you happiest. And only you can decide that. But know that you can be successful one way or another. Whatever you choose, if you love it and you pursue it and you strive for it, you can achieve it. Okay? So the advice from Spirit is the Three of Swords. And they're saying, rather than feel bad about what you don't have or about what you don't want, whatever that may be, they're saying, pull the swords out of your heart, and decide for yourself that maybe what makes you different is actually what makes you amazing. Whether your boss agrees or not, it's not the point. There are other bosses, there are other jobs, there are other opportunities. Or what's holding you back may be some fear, maybe some doubt about your ability to step up to the plate and be a leader. Same advice, pull those swords out and give yourself the chance, give yourself the opportunity to do more, to be more, to rise up, to expand into a new arena as far as your skills and your abilities and your role within the job force. They're saying you can't heal what you don't acknowledge is broken. So look inward and say, am I afraid of doing this? Is that why I'm not currently doing it? Is it just intimidating to me? Or is it not what I want at all? If it's just fear, if it's just intimidation, if it's just outside your comfort zone, you can work with that. It starts by acknowledging it, but you can work with it. Okay? All right, group 3. I hope that helps. I hope it gives you the insight, the guidance, the advice that you needed. If it did resonate, please give the video a thumbs up, drop me a comment, subscribe. When you interact with my channel and my videos, it helps me know that our energies are resonating, which is really helpful to me. It will also help future readings to resonate more with you. And I have seen that over the years, that they start to feel more like personal readings, even when they're not. So thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you, and have a great day, y'all. Bye-bye.